right, welcome everybody. This is our second edition of the Let's Talk time together. So tonight we've got Richard and Nadine Bentley on the line with us. So let's talk miracles. And I want to welcome you guys on the line. It's just great to chat with you and to be able to hear the story tonight. But what we're going to do to kick off first is just have a little bit of fun and kind of test your general knowledge. But first, maybe let's you guys just introduce yourselves in 30 seconds, as we say, sum yourselves up, give a little bit of context to your world, who you are, what it's about, and yeah, let the people know and see who you guys are.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I am a daughter of the Most High God, first and foremost, and sure, what else? I don't know, I'm outgoing, I'm demonstrative, I've been in theatre my whole life, I don't know, what else do I say? This is me. And you know?
Yeah, I'm in restaurant business or industry, should I say. I'm definitely a child of God, born again.
Yeah.
Baptized
Awesome.
on my birthday, which was
Come
amazing. There it is, pretty much it. And I've got a servant's heart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
you do, indeed. Indeed. So Nadine, interestingly, theatre your whole life, really?
Yeah.
pretty much,
Yeah.
Wow.
pretty much, yeah.
We must talk some more. I love theatre. I've done
Love
theatre.
theatre too.
Yeah, come on.
Absolutely
Okay,
love
we'll
it.
talk some more. Maybe one day we'll do Let's Talk Theatre. We'll do one of those, eh? Yeah. Good, eh? So just to kick off this call and have a bit of a fun, we're going to do some general knowledge and to test how your guys' skills are when it comes to knowing stuff. So we've got a few categories that I'm going to give you guys a chance to choose from. You've got geography, history, sports, politics, food and drink, music, celebrities, or true and false. I'll ask you one question, okay, from the one that you choose. Anyone. We'll go with you
So
first.
one question to each of us, or one question to both of us?
Yeah. Let's do
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Let's go sport.
Okay, Richard does sport. Okay, Nadine, what are you going to do?
I'm going to do true and false.
True or false? Okay, Richard, choose between 1 and 10.
Choose between 1 and 10. Okay, 7.
Yeah. Okay, 7, Nadine, Richard, between 1 and 10.
5.
5. Okay,
Yes.
right. Sports question coming up. Since, I don't know, we'll see. Since 1977, where has snooker's world championship taken place? Since 1997, Since 1977, where has snooker's world championship taken place?
Las Vegas.
And the answer is the Crucible Theatre.
Wow.
That's interesting. That's
Wow.
interesting. Okay, I didn't know that either. So don't worry. I can't say I follow snooker as a sport. That's something keen. All right, Nadine, you going true and false? You said number 7, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. President Theodore Roosevelt's son was called Kermit. True or false?
True.
Correct. You have won a point.
Wow.
Okay, I mean, I think you guessed, right? You guessed.
Yeah.
It was a complete guess. It was so out there, it had to be true.
Okay, well, it's great to have some fun and have you guys on the line. So Nadine and Richard have been part of the Bay for about 3 years, and I just want to commend you guys for the way you've come in and just made this your family, and just the way you serve. I've noticed that with you guys, you just got stuck in and wanted to serve the body, and I just love that about both of you. You know, we all have busy lives, but there's nothing better than seeing people that just want to, you know, give themselves to people and to serve. And you've been, you know, part of the Bay for that time, and yeah, and it's been beautiful to see God knit you in with us. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a conversation and just talk about some of your journey, you know, and a part of your lives, and to what God has done for you over the last couple of weeks when everything in lockdown seemed that it was impossible to work out. You guys had a miracle take place, and just for God. So So just to, kind of sidetrack probably nearly 40 years of our lives, but get to this point now, and we don't have time, unfortunately, to go through everything, but you guys have been running, and mainly Richard, I suppose, been managing this Sav Cafe down in Simonstown. Maybe just give us some context of what it is managing that restaurant, and then obviously things like lockdown happened. What happened? What did it feel like for you guys?
So we went into the August weekend, closed, yes. And for an entire week we renovated, restructured our menus, designed it to the customer's desire. So we got feedback from customers and designed the menu so the customers, we got more what they would like. We did training on the Sunday. Come Monday, we open up. We run for 4 days. And Cyril Ramaphosa announces that we're locking down on the Friday.
Wow. Yeah.
Look, we took it in our stride. We made sure the staff could understand that no one's going to lose their jobs. We're going to look after you. We immediately, obviously, the group hopped on to getting the guys their UIF money and all those things, starting to line that up. And then lockdown came, and we thought, 21 days, we can do this. It's only 21 days, we're strong. We'll survive this. 1 month, we're going to be fine. And the extension came in, and before that, I had a feeling, we estimated how long we're going to survive, because Nadine's obviously in shark cage diving. That's her actual industry that she's in, and that's tourism. So that is already in the what, like gone. It's only looking late this year. No income, barring a tours and a little bit of agreement that came along with helping out. So we weighed our pros and cons and said, look, we're going to run out of money by August, September. And I said to Nadine, we've got to look at maybe going to move up to Joburg, work for my dad, get through this bad time, because there we guarantee to have employment here. And in Cape Town, doesn't look like we're going to have an income for a while. Wow. Nadine resided, after fighting with herself and fighting with me, she came to the conclusion God is everywhere. So God's
in Johannesburg.
Yeah, so we'll go there.
Yeah.
In between that, my boss phoned me and said, "Listen, Rich, Nadine's you're obviously not going to be earning income for a while. Do you want to buy one of the shops?" And
the I Love Waffles.
I Love Waffles franchise, and they were doing it to obviously help us out, and we'd help them out by buying it and taking it off their hands, and it would be a win-win for both. We saw a bit of a light, but obviously didn't have it in our hearts that we wanted to go with waffles. Maybe it could have helped us out a bit.
Yeah, so Nadine explained that meeting to me a little bit, and I want to jump ahead too quickly to the next kind of phase. So, I mean, obviously for you, lockdown, no one anticipated 21 days. Fine, we could do that. And then it just got longer and longer. And the reality of change, so the idea of having to go to Joburg became real, because it's livelihood you're looking about, to try and have some stability to continue, So, before we kind of jump to the next part of your story, and I know, Nadine, you've got a real heart to kind of serve and help people. I didn't know much about your shark diving kind of stuff, but that's one thing I will never, ever go and do, so you can be secure.
Oh, come now.
Yeah, totally, But I know you've got a heart, and, Richard was in the restaurant, and you obviously were there, you were together and stuff, but you've got a heart, you were really helping people, give us some story, what you're doing, and helping guys in different ways.
Well, the Lord spoke to me. It's another beautiful, beautiful testimony, but it's a long one. So it's, not really time now. But the Lord told me last year that he wanted me to open or to start a Bible study and feeding scheme for the homeless and indigent in Simonstown. Wow. Everything just kind of fell into place. He gave me names of people that I'd never known before. And literally things, when God puts things in place, doors just open, and he opened doors. And So we started our very first Living from the Word Bible study and feeding scheme on Sunday, the 1st of December, 2019. We started with 6 people, and at our last count, we had 36 people. And that was what, March 20th, maybe. We had 36 people, and these are guys that are really hungry for the Word of God, and it was really, really amazing. And then when lockdown came, and because we were meeting at a different restaurant in Simonstown, when lockdown came, obviously we couldn't meet there anymore, and that kind of fell through. And then we started to do the feeding, because now everyone was locked down. These guys are still around. They still need to get food.
They don't have food.
So we were then helping with feeding these guys while they were on the streets. And then, of course, they were taken off to Strandfontein. And then from there, we started to make up food parcels and get, I mean, God is amazing, because he told me right from word go, when we started Living from the Word, he said to me, you will not put your hand in your own pocket. I will provide.
Yeah.
And through many different things, he showed me this. He proved this to me.
Yeah.
And we would get donations for the food parcels, and we would make up really amazing food parcels that we managed to feed a family of 4 for 2 weeks. And we got these food parcels out to people, and it was just living from the Word, and the two of us really, and obviously God. And we managed to do that for a long time, and then we got we were warned that we're no longer allowed to do it, because the government said that it's got to go through them, otherwise you're going to get arrested and stuff. And we basically said, well, we'll get arrested, we'll keep doing it until such time as we get arrested, and then things just progressed from there. And so right now I'm so grateful to Errol and Siakula. We're now managing to actually do food parcels for the entire, sorry, I might cry, the entire Red Hill, every single home in Red Hill. And it's a food, it's a proper food parcel. It's not a meal. It's an actual food parcel, which is sustainable, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, that is phenomenal. Again, it just perpetuates that whole thing of when God lays something on your heart in just a small, simple little way, and you're obedient to what he says, and it starts with 6 people, but you just, hold on to the promises. You'll never have to dig from your pocket and all those things, but you walk in faith, and then you look back and you think, it was just those little steps of obedience that opened up all of these doors now. And I know Errol gave me some context to the story of how guys have come in now and to be able to feed a whole community. And that's because of one small little step of obedience from last year, and you see what that produces, so it's just beautiful to hear that, how you're doing that and stuff. So you would prefer to be arrested than to go in a shark cage. That's
no, should be the same.
No, amazing. I mean, that's this allows people to see a little bit of a context to your lives. You see how it's always about reaching out and serving and helping others. That is just such a powerful process, and beautiful. I mean, so you guys now, Richard, you explain you're leading to this point now, lockdown, the restaurant, all the things you can't do and not allowed to do, and wondering how things are going to work out. And the guys that own the restaurant, you're going to have a call with them, and in that conversation, they give you the option of this other restaurant. Was it to help manage and run, or actually to purchase it, or?
To purchase it. It's a lot smaller concept. It
only sells waffles.
Only sells waffles. Waffles and milkshakes and awesome stuff.
I mean, let me tell you, they're really good waffles, but it's only waffles.
Yeah. So, and obviously, it's not good for the figure if I stay there. So we decided no.
Yes. Okay, so now in that, they offered you that.
Yes. So, and then Nadine put up her hand and said, guys, look, if I can only do waffles, it's not going to work for me.
I didn't feel it on my heart at all.
Then one of the youngest director, Pat, beautiful man, he just stood up in the background and said, look, I'm actually talking out of turn. I haven't spoken to the other directors. But if you're going to raise up a bit of bucks for waffles, why don't you raise a little bit more and look at buying Stav Cafe? I don't think, I think you need to speak to your directors. And they all agreed, and they got onto it, and they gave us a figure out, right? And the figure was huge, and I was like, wow, all right, that's good. At least we got somewhere we can start. Now we're going to try raise that money, it was obscene. But we,
especially for this time, I think
that is exactly
during COVID.
Yeah.
I think if you're not in COVID, it would have been a lot easier.
Yes.
But now you're slap bang in the middle of COVID. No one knows when it's going to end, and now you're going to go to a bank and you're going to ask them to give you a loan for a restaurant that can't open or operate.
That's it.
And not going to work.
And if we looked at speaking to my dad as well, but his heart was in. He's paying all his staff fully still. Doesn't matter if they're in lockdown or not, and they're not working. I also didn't want to put that burden on him as well. So in my heart, it didn't feel right. So we resided like, okay, well, it was a nice try.
It was meant to be. It'll be.
Yeah. That was on the Thursday. And then we mentioned to a friend of ours that we're looking to buy waffles, and we did mention that we also want to. We
might have to go to
Joburg.
Yeah.
And she phoned Nadine quite early the next morning, the Friday morning, and said to Nadine, so how did your meeting go? Nadine explained, look, waffles not going to work for us. But on the other hand, they offered Sav Cafe. And I was milling around in the bedroom, and Nadine said, look, this is the figure that they're asking for. And she goes, cool. What's it in real money? And I'm like,
she deals in dollars.
Yeah. So I'm going like, well, what do you mean? So we work it out, we give it to her, and she sits back, or obviously a little bit of a pause. She goes, if that's the only thing that's stopping you,
is that the only
thing that's stopping you from buying Sav Cafe or owning Sav Cafe? And we said, well, it's probably the biggest thing that's stopping us, but yes. She said, well, I've got it, I don't need it, you can have it. And we're like, what?
What do you say to that?
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
Wow.
And then we had a chat to her, and she was pretty nonchalant about giving it to us. She said, I'm giving it to you. I don't care if the dollar goes up or down. That doesn't bother me. I'll take the rand value regardless.
And there's no interest payment. No interest. Pay me back when you can.
She doesn't want a contract. And yeah, so a couple of days later, she transferred the money.
Was transferred.
And God just put all these God put all these people years ago into our lives, and God put us in other people's lives, and it's just one hand just washes the other. It's how God works.
Ephesians 2:10, one of my favorite scriptures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't know what your path is. You don't know God. And it's on the way to our first meeting. Nadine was sitting in the car and staring out, because we drive along the coast, sitting out and looking at the ocean, and she says, I got this on my heart. God says what?
No, we make our plans, but God laughs at our plans.
And I looked at it, I was like, what does that mean? But okay, let's go to the meeting. And then after that meeting, I walked in and I said, what? I don't know where that saying came, but it's absolutely poignant for what we're just going through now.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, yeah, and we're talking a sizable amount of money too. You're not talking
no, absolutely.
It's not small.
It's got a few zeros behind it, to give context to people. And this friend of yours just felt obliged to kind of step in and help. And and I think it probably stirred your faith in realizing we were believing for this, and God's just come through, and it wasn't ever a no, but He's provided for you, and made the miracle of provision. So now, I mean, the joy of you essentially you own the restaurant. God has given you your own business. In a time when the economy's going through the floor, and everyone's nervous and panicking about recovery and how all things are going to work. In the midst of all this, doesn't it just prove again this upside down kingdom that it makes no sense? In the midst of all of this, we've got some testimonies in the church we'll share about that, where it doesn't make sense, but in this time God's provided and made far beyond what we actually needed.
Well, Sheldon, I mean, if you think about it, very sadly, and of course it really is sad, but in this time, more than 155 restaurants have closed in Cape Town.
That's been thrown around.
And that's a lot. And that's a lot of people that have lost their jobs. And here it is, God is giving us. And then not only that, Sav was never a takeaway restaurant. It was never a takeaway restaurant. And so we opened up on the 1st of June for takeaways, and God has just poured out blessings on us as far as the takeaways. And then on the 1st of July, he opens up for sit down. We weren't even expecting to do sit down until like September. And here we are doing sit down. I mean, God is just, you know, and one of the things that it really cemented for me, other than, I mean, obviously I know that God loves us and he cares for us. And I know this might sound really weird, but one of the things that it really also cemented for me is that he wants us in Cape Town. There's a reason that he wants us here, and he's opened the doors and he's made it possible for us to be here. So
no, that's
with this transaction, it's allowed for none of the staff within the group to get retrenched.
Amen.
Staff to start earning an income going forward. The Lord has done some miracles, absolute miracles. All our staff are fed. They can start generating income. They can start earning a livelihood again. And God's amazing. God's so
it is phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely incredible. And you guys, I mean, are thriving it now. The business is kind of booming in a way, you know, of doing these takeaways now, the sit downs and the opportunity. It's, you know, that's the favor of God. It's not because you did anything special, because you necessarily really prayed more and, you know, were more spiritual than, you know, it's not the other 155 didn't trust God. No. It's just that this is your story and that God was going to provide for you. And I agree, like he wants you in Cape Town. He's got a purpose and a plan for you. And often God makes a way for us when he wants us to walk in our destinies with him. And so, I mean, it's beautiful to hear of his provision. So the joy in your hearts, you know, of driving to a restaurant every morning, knowing it's yours, you know, knowing this is what God has provided for us. I mean, just give us some of that feeling, you know, of the joy in your hearts.
Well, I think, Sheldon, obviously it's overwhelming.
It is.
It's overwhelming. But I think also very much for me, and I think for Richard too, is we know that it's God's restaurant.
Yes.
We're just his stewards. So we're looking after what he's given us to look after, and we want to look after it to the best of our ability, and in everything give him glory.
That's
and that's what we go to work. That's our prayer every day. And that's what we go to work to do. Our work is to bring him glory and honor and praise. And
that's it.
And that's our work. And we just happen to do it in the confines of a restaurant.
Yeah, we're able to shine every day.
Yeah, amen.
We're able to shine and impact people's lives, just touching on people's lives every single day, which is a tool that not many have. We've got it at our disposal, and it's an amazing tool. We just touch people's lives every day, not because we want to show off. It's because God pokes at me every day and he says, "Listen, buddy, have a chat to that person, mention that to that person." It happens to me daily, and I'm like, okay, I'm quite shy because I'm new at being a Christian. But I do it. I try my best.
Yeah, but bro, I tell you, but that's the whole point. You see, when we live for the kingdom, you know, it's what you do is not, you know, it's for the kingdom. You run that restaurant to the glory of God. You know, so what a testimony to all your staff of God's provision, that they were worried and thinking, how are things going to pan out? And this is the testimony of God's, you know, fulfillment and blessing. And again, that line that Martin kind of said is that, you know, non-Christians will not read the Bible, but they will look at our lives they will see our lives as the example to them, you know, and this is the joy of when we see kingdom favor being poured out upon us. You know, I think SAV stands for Saved and Victorious Cafe. I think that's a good one.
There we go. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. You know, and it's just, and we want to share this with the Bay to stir people's faith, you know, for them to believe that you didn't do anything special for this, but God just made a way for you. And I love Proverbs 16, verse 9, that says, "A man sets his course, but the Lord orders his steps." You know, and years ago, you set your course with regards to owning or managing a restaurant and being in this industry, and now God just, you know, saw your hearts and just poured out a bit of favor on you, and and showed his love for you guys and made a way. So we want to speak blessing and favor over that restaurant, that it'll continue to be a blessing to you guys, but to the people that go there. It's got a fantastic view over the sea, to be able to look out over there, and yeah, absolutely incredible. So yeah, I trust people are blessed by listening to this today, and to, in the midst of when everything in the world looks like it's failing, God comes through and provides an absolute miracle and makes a way for you guys. And so we are blessed to be able to kind of know that you're walking in the goodness and the fullness of God. And may those hamburgers you produce make change.
Amen.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for the time and just being on this call tonight, and for people to hear the story. And yeah, we trust you guys will be blessed.
Well,
Okay.
Sheldon, thank you so much for having us and giving us the opportunity to once again give God glory.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheldon.
Fantastic. Okay, bless you guys. All right.
Bless you.
Cheers, Sheldon.